you actually file for free?
IRS in California setups. The IRS website is irs.gov, G-O-V. And if you go there, this is the homepage right here. And so as you can see, there's a file your taxes for free right in the front there. Now, there are some limitations. The main one being...
Welcome to Office Hours, a tax podcast by Fujikawa and Associates. We're your hosts. I'm Josh Baldovino, one of Derek's clients, and this is Derek Fujikawa, who's the managing partner of Fujikawa and Associates. Derek, how you doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I know you are about to get way busy because it is, as of today, Valentine's Day, by the way. Happy
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
And it is the beginning of tax season for you.
Yes.
And so for this episode's kind of how to basically not hire you to do tax prep and how someone can do their taxes for free. So just given a lot of value here. So Derek, just break down, I mean, most people know, but like why is it so difficult sometimes to file taxes, and how can you actually file for free?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it is and it isn't difficult. I know I do it all the time, so I guess it's pretty much demystified for myself. But it's when your tax return does get complicated, it is a difficult proposition, right? It is. There's a lot of things you have to think about when you have multiple entities, rental properties, things like that. But if you're a W-2 employee and maybe have some interest here and there or something, then it is a relatively simple process. Saying that you can just grab the form and write everything in and do it real fast like that. But there are a lot of aids out there that'll help you either do it for relatively inexpensive and even free in some cases.
Yeah, so this is the episode of how to not hire you and how to do it yourself for free. So let's just dive right into it, Derek.
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and let's share your screen here. So this is the
Yes.
IRS website. So what are we looking at?
Yes. So I'm in California, so I'll be going over IRS in California. If you're in another state, I don't know if all 50 states have their own free file system, but California does have one. So I'll go over the IRS in California setups. So the IRS website is irs.gov, G-O-V. And if you go there, this is the homepage right here. And so as you can see, there's a file your taxes for free right in the front there. And so if you just click on that, it'll take you to their free filing site. And so they don't actually have the software on their website, but they've contracted with other vendors that will do it for free. And so you can go and if you click on Explore Free Guided Tax Software, and then you can browse all the different options you have. And so you can see here, there's about 5 or 6 different ones that you can go through and file your return for free. Now, there are some limitations. The main one being your AGI has to be $73,000 or less. So this isn't for the big return or the big complicated return. This is more if you have, a relatively small W-2 and maybe, like I said, maybe a little bit of interest or dividends and things like that. Be a good option for you. But just do remember, you do have a state return to file. So if you're in California, you also have to file a California return. So you'll do it here. And then the other side of that coin is the California website. So here, this website is FTB, so F like Franchise Tax Board .ca.gov, and that's the California website. And oops, sorry, I didn't go to the main. So this is the home page right here. And as you can, and here they have a button called CalFile. That's their free filing system. And so that one, if you click that, you can actually file directly with the state. But you do have to set up an account, a My FTB account. And then you go in there and then you enter all your information in and you can file directly with the state. That does have a slightly higher income threshold. Actually, a lot higher. I think it's about over 200,000.
Oh.
So that works. But if you're going to have to pay for a federal software, then at that point, you probably will just use their California and not have to enter things twice. So practical purposes, 73,000 is kind of your threshold, right? So you can file for free on IRS and file for free with the state. If you go over that, then you'll have to pay for the IRS. So you can still do it free on the state, but if you're going to pay for the IRS one, then you might as well just enter it once on whatever software, whatever you use at that point.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, and I'll leave all of these links down below as well. So that way you don't have to go ahead and type that in. So go ahead and pop into the show notes and the description below and you can click through. One thing that stood out to me as I thought is, if you're making $200,000 a year, And if you still had to pay for federal, it's probably also just worth it for you time wise to not enter
Mhm.
something twice into something and
Yes.
paying 50, $60 for whatever tax filing software there is probably worth your time.
Yes. Yeah. Probably.
And then also, I think one thing that a lot of people forget is that once it's filing time, this is all after the fact, right? There's not really much that you can
Yes.
do.
Yes. So you're reporting historical information, right? So right now we're in 2024, but we're doing our 2023 tax returns. So there's not a lot you can do. There's a few small things. I mean, you can, if you qualify, you can make, say, an IRA contribution, something like that. But there's very little you can do to actually affect your 2023 return at this point, especially if you're, a wage earner. If you have a business, again, not a whole lot, but some smaller things that you can do to affect prior years. But again, nothing major. um, so yeah, so anything done now is going to be more on a prospective basis. You're looking at 2024 things you can do to reduce your taxes for this year that we're in now.
Okay. Well, that's fair. And then in terms of when should someone consider paying, say, a CPA like you for tax preparation? When is that threshold usually that it seems like it makes kind of common sense?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's necessarily an income threshold, but more a complexity threshold, I guess. If you're going to start a business, um, rental properties, kind of yes and no. I mean, some of the like TurboTax and those the lower cost softwares can handle that fairly easily if you just have, say, a long-term rental. But if you have multiple rentals or getting into short-term rentals, or anything a little more complicated than just a straight single long-term rental, then it's probably a good idea to hire somebody to take a look at everything and make sure that everything is getting done correctly.
Okay. So starting a business, buying a rental property, we're trying to do something a little
Mhm.
more fancy, especially if we're trying to do a cost segregation with
Yes.
your
Yeah.
short-term rental. I'll leave that one link down below too. That's probably the
Sure.
favorite tax hack that might be coming
Mhm.
back in full swing sometime soon,
Yeah.
huh?
Yes. Yeah. We'll see.
Okay, the last question I got for you
Yeah.
is, all right, so filing your taxes is post-mortem, meaning you can't make any changes.
Hmm.
But the person who's watching this up to this episode or up to this far in the episode, by the way,
Hmm.
thank you. Please hit
Yes.
the
Thank
like
you.
button and subscribe. Um, if they're looking for a better return for 2024, meaning what they file next year, I mean, you kind of alluded to already, but what are some of the things that they should be thinking about in order to improve their tax situation?
Yeah, I mean, we're early in the year, so there's a lot of planning opportunities that you have. Now, it's hard to say there's no real blanket one thing's going to help everybody, right? I mean, if you're a wage earner, you have fairly limited options. I mean, you can increase your retirement withholdings and things like that to reduce your overall income by the end of the year. You have a lot of time, so you can cut it up into smaller chunks to take out of each paycheck. Versus if we were to talk, say, in August and you only had 4 months left, then you'd have to take a lot more out if you wanted to, say, get to a higher number on those contributions. So definitely starting earlier is the most helpful. And then if you have businesses, there's a lot of planning you can do. Um, again with retirement, but also um, you know asset acquisitions, things like that, like we were talking about with depreciation and even cost segregation. A lot of things that you can look at right now, especially right now, because they say if you wanted to purchase property or something like that, you can't just go out tomorrow and buy the property, right? So you're gonna need some time to find to make the acquisition, and then at that point we can talk about doing, say, a cost segregation or some sort of planning with those assets.
And if all of what Derek said sounds a little bit confusing, it totally was for me too. We also broke it down. There's a few things I'll link down below, but we also broke down a cost segregation we did with my short-term rental that gave us an $80,000 write-off. So I will link to
Mhm.
that video also down below. But I think there are ways today in the beginning of 2024 for you to file for free, and there's
Mhm.
ways to then maximize your tax position. So of course, click all the links down below. Derek, is there anything else you want to share about this time in terms of filing? Any words of wisdom you want to give to the audience?
Um, biggest thing is don't wait till the last minute. Working with a CPA like myself or any other CPA, we definitely appreciate it when you get us your stuff early versus at the last minute. well, the last, if you get it to us on April 10th, it's not going to be filed by the 15th, but deadline. And, if I get a lot of stuff in at my deadline. So, those are obviously going to take longer because I just get a whole bunch of returns at that point. But if you get it to me sooner, then your turnaround time is going to be a little bit quicker. But then also, if you're doing it yourself, don't wait till April 14th to get everything together and start putting it in. If the site goes down, or if there's a glut of people trying to file the returns and it crashes or something, and you don't want to be late because there's a technical issue. So it's done early. Even if you owe, your payment is not due until April 15th. So you can always file now and then pay on April 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt to get it in right away, and at least get your filing done so that you're not worrying about that, and then postmark your payment by the 15th, and you're good.
Well, good to know. So let us know if you take advantage of any of these free tax filings softwares, or actually, yeah, the softwares.
Yeah.
And if you did, can you just in the comments down below put in "I filed for free"? I just want to see if you did and if you made it this far. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek, I have some time slotted for myself this weekend to start on gathering some documents for you. So those will be on
Great.
on the way.
Early, please.
But for anyone else who has any questions, I will also leave Derek's links down below to get in contact with him. I'm sure you probably have a couple tax prep slots left, so make sure to reach
They're
out to
filling
him.
up, but yeah, I might have a couple.
So go ahead and reach out to him. Other than that, Derek, thanks so much for sharing this, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.
All right. Thanks.